Hi everyone, welcome to this week's video, which as you can see is away from my usual environment behind my desk, and I've come down into the garden for one very good reason, which I'll tell you about in just a minute. Also in this video, I'll be showing you some very nice things I picked up during my week in London last week and tell you about some plans for the channel going forward as we come very, very close to that 100,000 subscriber milestone. Now, if you saw last week's video, you will have seen me unbox a collection of studio master tapes I bought at auction. Unfortunately, a lot of them were covered in dust and mold, which I really don't want inside the house, and I don't want inside me either, which is why I've come out into the garden. So what we're going to do is to clean these tapes using my trusty old Revox A77 Mark III here. So let's get wired up and get you repositioned, and let's crack on. So first up is this Scotch 202 tape, which has Buddy Rich album, side 2. 15 inches per second NAB stereo copy tape for United Artists Liberty. Now this comes on a BASF reel, so it might not be the original tape or tape reel, obviously. And as you can see, it's got a lot of dust and I don't know, mold or whatever that is on there. Like a lot of these old tapes been stored in very bad conditions. That side's not so bad, but that side seems like it's been open to the elements at some point. We've also got to be careful on this tape too, because let's see if I can find the beginning. Yeah, this has got some shedding on it already. You can see the oxide has come off the backing, so this might not be the original Scotch tape. BASF it says, which is good tape actually. So first thing I'm going to do is take a nice soft paintbrush and try and brush away some of the dust, which it comes away quite easily actually, as you can see. There, not there, comes off quite nicely. And on here too, and on there as well. That looks pretty clean now. That looks nice and clean. I'm not going to run that through the machine. I'm just going to give it a brush the other side too, because that is dust free. I want to, run these tapes as fewer times as possible, especially that one with its oxide shed. So we'll call that one done, if you like, and move on to the next one, which is another Scotch tape or another Scotch box. And this it's the Jimmy Smith 4-track, which some people have said is an EP, but I don't know. One of these tracks is about 8 minutes, so I think that's a bit too long for a 7-inch EP. Never mind, we'll have a look at it anyway. This is on an Ampex reel. It also says Virgin 45L, which somebody told me in a comment in the last video means it's blank, so I hope not. This has got some significant mold issues both sides. Don't know if you can see that. Get that in the little sun ray there. You can see that side, and this side too. It's been really badly wound, and there is some stuff on it. Let's see what happens when we give the magic brush. Yeah, that improves it. It seems to get in it too. Yeah, that's coming off quite well actually. Let's try the other side. This is really not nice. That's not coming off so well. That seems to be more ingrained. That bit too. Yeah, there's still some residue left on there. It's got rid of the dust on the top, but there's appears to be some white deposits on the edge of the tape. So we might give that a run a little later on. Let's have a look at the tape. It's got a black backing and with a oxide underneath. So that might be Ampex. That might be something which is not so good, or hasn't stood the test of time so well. Sticky shed syndrome, some of these Ampex tapes. but they're mostly from the early 70s when they stopped using whale oil. They replaced it with a synthetic oil, and that's when they had the sticky shed syndrome problems. So we might be all right. This one is the Baby Washington tape, Scotch 201. This is on a BASF reel, and as you can see, has some significant dust, mold issues on that side especially. You can see the mottling there. If I catch it in the sun properly. Yeah, a lot of that going on. So let's just make sure this is on the reel here. No leader tape on this, so I don't know what's happened to that. And no reels either, so it's just a straight copy tape. But yeah, lots of nasty stuff going on there. So let's have a go at it with the paintbrush and see if there's any improvement. Yeah, there is. Significantly different to that. Not sure how well you can see that the camera viewfinder isn't so good. Let's give that a brush. That seems to be okay too. That one, yeah. Seems to be doing the trick. Yeah. Yeah, that's very good. And back to the beginning. That's got a lot of it off. That's quite a significant improvement. Have a look at this side. You can see, again, hopefully you can see that. Let's catch it in that sun, there we go. Yeah, you can see this. Let's see if we can rub that off. Yeah, it comes off nicely. This one, too. Dust in that one. That one as well. And this one. Yeah, that's significantly better than it was. Definitely got rid of the dust on the surface, on the edges. There's still some marks here I can see, which are a bit more deeply ingrained, so we will need to run that. This tape is shiny backed. Again, the leader is missing, so I can't say what type of tape it is, whether it's BASF or Scotch, I don't know. Anyway, we'll give that a run in a minute and have a look at this one. This is this Racal Zonal tape. Don't know what's on this one, complete mystery, so that's going to be a surprise. This one has a really filthy, this is just filthy everywhere. The reel is really filthy. You can see that mold here, and the tape has got the same dusty particles and mold particles on it as well. So what I'm going to do is some kitchen roll here. I'm going to put some isopropyl alcohol on my piece of kitchen roll and just give this reel a wipe. Yeah, that's really sort of damaged the metal, I think, but I'll get most of the dirt off. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of dirt on that reel. I think I need some more IPA, as they call it. It's going to be easy if I put it on the... I'll hold it. It's quite easy to hold it. Yeah, it's coming off, but it's not. It's stained the aluminium of the reel, but it's getting most of the dirt off. Trust the aim. So I'm not going to poison myself. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's quickly do the other side. as I said, you'd probably do this differently to me, but you're not doing it, I'm doing it. So, but yeah, the magic of IPA, isopropyl alcohol. This side's a bit cleaner actually. It's cleaning up a bit better. It wasn't so dirty. I sort of it indicates that these tapes have been stored outside the boxes for a while. All this dust on one side. So it, I don't know. Anyway, that's as much as I'll do for that. That's quite a lot of dirt off there. And we'll give the windows a wipe or a brush. Yeah, again, it's coming off a bit, but there's still some deep dust in there. It's better than it was anyway. Yeah, this is this unusual blue-backed tape, often used for BBC or broadcasting purposes. So, not sure what's on there. There seems to be another reel on there. No, it's not another reel. It's just a bad wind. Blue tape is showing up. So that's that one done. What we're going to do now, I think I'll do this one, because I know this is probably not a master tape, a valuable master tape. I'm going to run this through the Revox. And of course, I'm going to keep this tape completely away from the playheads. I don't want any dust or debris on the playheads, especially as this machine has been recently refurbished and recalibrated. I'm going to just thread this up onto the take-up spool here. Like so. And what I'm going to do is just hold a microfiber cloth here, gently hold the tape as it goes through so I can clean it. Now, this might not be the method you're supposed to use or that you would use, but again, it's the method I'm using. So there we go. So let's get hold of it first. Fast forward, and we have to hold the fast forward button down. And we should go through pretty quickly. Let's just stop there and see how much dirt we've got off that first bit. Yeah, see, that's all the dirt that's come off so far. So I'm going to find a clean piece of cloth. Do that again. Hello, wasp. Okay, and do a bit more and then stop and change the cloth. I don't want to put in dirt back onto the same tape. Okay, stop it there. Again, a lot of dirt off that part of tape. Another piece of area of the cloth. Doesn't seem to be any oxide coming off anyway. I think this is just dirt. I don't really think it does it a lot of harm. Okay, let's just check that again. Yeah. Lots of dirt, mostly on this side, which is the backing side, which is the blue side. Not much coming from the other side, which is the playing side, the side which has the information on. Oop, okay, play. Okay, getting towards the end. And that's your lot. Good. Not much on that last bit, quite short. So that's much cleaner than it was, thanks to the paintbrush and the microfiber cloth. I'm going to rewind that and get another one spooled up. This is the baby Washington tape, which looks a bit frazzled at the end here. Again, no leader tape, that hasn't helped it. So we'll just spool that up like that. Let's find a clean piece of microfiber cloth and gently hold the tape. Actually, I'm going to just reposition my fingers there. I've got these gloves on, I can't feel anything. I'm going to take the glove off. My fingers will be behind the cloth, so they'll be protected anyway. Okay, so I can feel it going through now. Let's give it a few feet and see what comes off. Yeah, mostly on the edge of the tape. You can see the lines going down the side. So the dirt is mostly on the edge of the tape, or what's coming off is on the edge of the tape and not the actual playing or backing side of it, which is good. Let's see if we've got any more sort of dirt we've got there. Ooh, look at that. Whoops, can you see that? Okay, focus please. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot of dirt there, look at that. That's a lot of dirt off that tape. Yeah, that's a lot of dirt. And we went for quite a long time there, so there was always going to be more. But I'm sure there's still plenty left on the tape to give us a decent result. So don't be too alarmed. We'll go to the end on this run. Nearly there. I think this is the longest tape in the collection. There we go. Okay, yeah. A lot of dirt and umska there. So let's get it rewound and do the next one. Now, next up is this Jimmy Smith tape, and I really don't like the look of this at all. This is got matte black finish to it. I'm sorry you can't see that so well. It's not my ideal conditions out here in the garden for examining tape condition, but it does seem there's a bit of the backing is coming off this tape. You can see tiny speckles of it there. Yeah, this is going to need to be baked, this tape, I think. Old Ampex tape is very susceptible to sticky shed syndrome. Next up, we're going to be looking at the Buddy Rich album, which is in a Scotch box on a BASF reel, and this already has, as I said, some tape damage here. It's already come off the backing. So I'm not sure I'm going to run that through the machine as it is. It's not dirty really. I took most of the dust off, and it doesn't look too bad. So I'm not going to risk running that through the machine for now. Let's have a look at one of the smaller Advision boxes. This one has Buddy Rich inside it, and this has some dirty bits going on. Did I brush this with the brush? Yeah, it's coming off here like that. Brush it this side. Yeah, let's give that a run through. This does a proper studio leader on it, but no tape manufacturer information, so don't know what's going on really with this one. Okay, let's assume the position and go. sort of stop halfway to see how we're going dirt-wise. If it's BASF tape, it will probably be okay because the tape stock was very stable and doesn't usually need baking. But I have my concerns about the Jimmy Smith one. Let's see what we've got here. Nah, not too bad. Again, just a line of dust coming off the edge of the tape. No oxide appears to be being left behind there. So I think this one's just dusty. Coming to the end. And out. Again, not much there, just edges of the tape. Just showing the dust that had accumulated on there. There is some dust in here, you can see on the reel. And then here. I'm going to put my cloth inside here and see if I can clean that up before I put the tape back in. Let's wipe that inside. Not very scientific, but that's probably okay. That's a bit better. I think some of that's on the outside. Okay, so let's spool that back. Red leader tape on this side, blue on the other side, so that's correct. Let's spool it back. Okay. Yeah, I could ideally I'll put them onto a clean, brand new reel, but I didn't. I'm going to clean this one up, actually. This deserves a new reel. I'll put this one on a new reel because it's absolutely filthy. It goes in the bin. I don't know what this is, but it's just a really small tape. Don't know what it's got on it. Let's brush the dust off. What's there? But yeah, this is an old, I don't know what type of reel this is. Maybe you know what it is. But it's very dusty and dirty, so I'm just going to run this through, clean this tape. Yeah, oh, there's even dirt on this part here. Yeah, this is a very dusty tape. Should be wound onto another size reel, but I don't have one of those here. There's an edit on the end, where it originally joined the leader, I think. Okay, let's get this one through. Oh, that's noisy. It's like a red tape. It's probably 60s, I'm sure it's 60s. Yeah, okay. Oh, sorry, it's a leaf. Yeah, oh, that's very dirty. That's very dirty. Very dirty tape, but it's much cleaner now, so we're going to chuck this in the bin because it's filthy. I'm going to rewind it onto a nice clean 60s BASF reel. Well, I'm sure it'll be much happier. Rewind. Okay. So that's much cleaner and happier on that BASF reel. So that's worth doing. So we've cleaned up the Advision tapes. Buddy Rich is going to be a problem, I think. As is this one, this Jimmy Smith. This is going to need baking, I think. This has got some sticky shed syndrome issues. The Racal Zonal and the Baby Washington, I think, are going to be fine. So they've cleaned up quite nicely. Of course, the acid test is actually playing them, putting through the system, which I'm going to do back in the office. So I hope to show you that on the second Sunday in October. So that's October 12th. So please join me for that. Now let me show you a couple of things I picked up in England during my stay there last week. And as usual, I hit all the charity shops I could, but it's slim pickings these days, not as good as it was 20, 30 years ago. But I did manage to get a couple of interesting items there. One of which was one of the tapes which was in the master tape collection, which was this. This is Kiki Dee's 1973 album, Loving and Free. And there's a couple of tapes in the master tape collection for this album. So that was just an interesting thing to pick up for just a couple of pounds. It's 1973, and there's a couple of Elton John written songs on there, and he also produced it along with Clive Franks. So it's just a couple of years before Don't Go Breaking My Heart. A decent album from what I've heard of it so far. So that was my first purchase for a couple of pounds, just because I got the master tape. Next up, I also found a copy of this, which I didn't have, which is Harry Nilsson's Pussycats, produced of course by John Lennon. This is a true British first pressing with the lyrics and the gatefold, and all the pictures of Harry and John inside. And yep, and there's the record, glossy label RCA Victor, first pressing, looks pretty much unplayed. So that was a good find. I haven't got that album, so that was a really nice first pressing to get. That was, I paid £10 for that in a specialist vinyl charity shop, but I thought that was a good deal because it's in great condition. Next up is this, Led Zeppelin's debut album. Now, as you might remember, I made a video about this on the channel last year, but I didn't have anything very audiophile to compare the original pressing to. Thankfully, a kind channel member donated this album to me, which is the Classic Records pressing 200 gram audiophile edition, in beautiful condition. So I'm really looking forward to playing that. Thank you very much, Kevin. I shall look forward to that. Next is a very, very rare Beatles record. It's a test pressing of Now and Then. Now this was pressed at Optimal Media in Germany, and the label on it says it was made on the 27th of June 2022. And of course it was a top secret project, so the word Beatles is nowhere on the sleeve. In fact, the label says Futurissimo, which was the code word for the Beatles. That's the name they used to cover themselves when they were making it in the factory. Now, this is a very interesting disc because although it's just a white label copy, it contains the version of Now and Then before Peter Jackson got his hands on it. So Lennon's vocal on this version sounds very, not free as a bird like, but not as strong as it does on the release version, we all know. So it's a unique version on a very rare test pressing. And it's not for sale, so please don't contact me asking me to sell it because it's not for sale, it's for my collection. So that was the highlight of my pickups in London. Ultra rare test pressing of Now and Then, the first version. And now some channel news. And on October the 9th, which would have been John Lennon's 85th birthday, I'll be reviewing this, the Power to the People 9 CD 3 Blu-ray edition box set, as well as the double LP set. And in that video, I'll be giving you my full and honest opinion of what's in this set and what isn't. So please join me for that on October the 9th. As we get closer and closer to that magical 100,000 subscriber milestone, I'm going to be making a few changes to the channel. But don't worry, the Sunday videos are going to be exactly the same. I'm going to keep those. They're going to be the deep dive historical Beatles videos. So that's fully intact. Don't worry about that. What I'm going to be doing is maybe adding a second video a week, maybe on a Wednesday or a Thursday, which might be an unboxing or an informal look at things in the news or a quick review, something like that, which doesn't need 3 days worth of editing. So that's going to start the beginning or the middle of October. So I hope you'll join me midweek for a second parlogram video in the week. Next week on the channel, we've got a video which I shot in London last week of a collector who's got over 400 copies of Please Please Me. British pressings, all different variations, mono and stereo, over 400 copies of the same album. You won't believe the things that he's got. So I hope you'll join me for that. But that's all for this one, so I'll say bye for now and thanks for watching.